Oh, that worked. I'm never like prepared for when the software just makes me go live like out of nowhere. It's always weird with YouTube. So yeah. Hey everybody. Just a little surprise impromptu live stream because I'm actually getting ready for a Patreon live stream, but I had a few minutes to jump on here, so I figured I would do so. Why am I doing that? Because I want to talk about Gravity. Gravity is the single for the month of May, and it is coming out in less than a week, in 6 days. Yes. So I'm here to ask all of you a favor. Yeah, the new song Gravity comes out on May 7th, and it is currently available for pre-order and pre-save on Spotify, on iTunes, on Amazon, all the lovely places. And it would just be the bee's knees if you guys would... Here, let me grab the link here. If you guys would be so kind as to pre-save it, boom, right there at that link. It's going to be May. That's true. Yes, it is going to be May. It's technically May. I actually have not seen the Justin Timberlake memes today just yet, but I guess Americans are just waking up, and they'll be posting all the memes shortly. Oh man, look, so many Patreon supporters in here. You guys are just hanging out on YouTube waiting for our Saturday live stream, weren't you? Which is going on in just shy of 45 minutes. Oh, look at that. Already getting the questions coming in. Okay. Pre-ordered. Yes. Love it. Thank you, CW Train. Magnus Carlson. Okay. See you in 6 days. Magnus, it certainly mean a lot to me if you would pre-save the single before you go. Because as you know, Aesthetic Perfection is a 100% independent musical project. We don't have any promotion companies. We don't have any management. We don't have any labels promoting this new music. It's just me. It's just you. If we're going to get this track into the charts, we're going to have to do it together. And I think this song is actually really has a good shot at kind of toppling all the big guys at the top of the metal charts, because Gravity's a banger, I promise you. Dude, are you coming back to Vegas? Yes, but I'm not sure if you are aware that there's kind of like this situation in the world right now, and live music, world travel has been sort of generally disrupted in a big way. So yeah, we are working on getting back out on the road. Vegas is absolutely going to be one of the stops on our next tour. However, I think we got to wait and see when the powers that be say it's okay to do so. Dude, congratulations. You really work hard all the time. You deserve the best. Thank you, Alegna. That is very kind of you. I do work hard, but I still kind of like enjoy what I do. So I don't know. Some days it doesn't feel like work. Other days it feels like a ton of work. I guess it's work. But it's not work like, you know, there's so many other jobs that are so much harder. And I always feel kind of bad talking about how like hard I work, you know, because there's so many other people out there who just put me to shame with their level of dedication and overall work ethic. We are opening Yeah, but just because one city and state opens up doesn't mean that all of them can. And don't forget, I live in a foreign country. I do not live in America. So, international travel is kind of not great. I'm actually going to LA in a few weeks, but that's because I have to. I really wouldn't travel right now if it wasn't necessary. And the only reason that I'm actually allowed to enter the United States is because I'm a citizen, right? So if I just wanted to go on holiday or just, for fun, and I wasn't a United States citizen, I'd be pretty much shit out of luck. All right, I brought myself a beer, and I did not bring a beer opener. So, I know. Tour microphone. That is what. There's even bite marks in the side of this from me opening beers with it on tour before. Nice. Cheers, everyone. All right. Oh, you're experimenting with metal now. Oh yeah, I've been messing with a lot of metal tones for a number of years. I mean, Gods and Gold, pretty metal. Rhythm Control, pretty metal. If I Die, pretty hard rock. Automaton topped the metal charts all across the globe back in March. So yeah, I'm certainly toying around with that sound at the moment, but I think it's really sort of brought out via the collaboration with Sebastian Svalin, because he's just such an incredible guitarist, and he really is the guy to bring these songs to life. Because I think that if I were to just sort of find some mundane guitarist, it would be, I don't like when bands quote unquote go metal when they don't really have the technical chops to do so, because I think a lot of people don't realize that you're not all of a sudden like a rock or metal band just because you have guitars in your music. Like, people who are in the metal scene, they appreciate metal music for the musicianship, the sort of nuances that come through in the guitar playing. There needs to be a certain technical skill level there, and I think a lot of bands just sort of make the mistake of thinking like, oh, I bought a guitar and a distortion pedal, and like now I'm a metal musician, and it's just really not that way. And also from a production standpoint, I think a lot of producers think that they can just drop like guitars on top of, some finished production and have that work, when it's like, really, the guitars need to be the bedrock of the music that that the rest of the production is based around. So these are things that are not lost on me, and I think very deeply and about all of this, because I feel like if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to include these metal elements, these rock elements in my music, I'm going to have to do it right. Somebody is trying to sell me a cult. Okay. Who's replacing Elliot? We do not know who's replacing Elliot just yet. It hasn't really been on the top of my to-do list, obviously, because we are in the middle of this current situation in the world, which hasn't really necessitated thinking about live concerts. Obviously, things are kind of changing rapidly, and it's going to be an issue to tackle a lot sooner rather than later. So it's definitely on my mind, but I don't have anything concrete just yet. But I promise it will be somebody awesome. He's in Vienna. I'm actually not in Vienna. I'm in a tiny little village in Upper Austria, which is kind of like closer to Bavaria. The biggest major city near me is Linz, where my buddy Isaac from Empathy Test lives. So at least there's somebody around here I can, talk shit in English with. Where's Mara? This live stream has not gone on long enough for Mara to become so impatient that she demands my attention. So hopefully she'll make an appearance during the Patreon live stream. Your cult is a Venn diagram. Okay, well, in that case, you may send me a link to your cult. I'm sorry, your Venn diagram. Is Dead Zone a song that you would... Oh, Ricardo dropped $5 into the super chat. Thank you very much, Ricardo. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate all of you guys' help. I think it's amazing that so many people appreciate my music and care about my music enough to want to support it financially. If you are interested in supporting Aesthetic Perfection in a financial sense, you should sign up for our Patreon. We've got an amazing community of people there. We've also got a whole bunch of amazing perks for those of you who sign up. So it's not like you're just throwing money at me. You actually get stuff in return. And actually, we also have annual subscriptions now. So it's like, I think it's like $20 for the year. And then you get to be a part of the community. You get access to the secret Discord, the secret merch store. You'd be able to be part of the super secret live stream Q&A that's taking place in just 30 minutes. So consider joining us on the Imperfect Society. I see all of my super awesome patrons are here just dropping links after every time I say something, every time I mention something. We got Roz, we got Aaron. Homies always supporting like crazy. Thank you, Ricardo. Much appreciated. Is Dead Zone a song that you would make a music video for if there weren't all of these crazy circumstances? I would love to be able to make a music video for every single one of the songs that's in the 12 Songs in 12 Months project. Unfortunately, it's just like really a logistical nightmare, and it's also a huge financial undertaking. You can't forget that, I'm doing this all on my own. The really only thing that is supporting me in any sort of like regular way is Patreon. Thank you, guys. So, yes, I would really love to be able to do that, but we're just going to have to wait and see how the situation develops in the next, few months. I will not be going back and making any music videos for these songs. I've already made the mistake of like going back and releasing a music video for a song that was already out, and that just absolutely tanked. Holy shit. Nobody watched the Supernatural video at all, and I think it is because these in this day and age, you have to premiere a music video with the song. You cannot have a song be out and then release a music video. It just doesn't work. Before Love Like Lies, the only electronic music I had heard was Gary Newman. I'm mostly a metalhead. Thanks to you, I've widely broadened my musical horizons. I think that is awesome. One of my favorite trends that I see in music these days is that the walls between genres are really coming down. It was already starting like that back in the 90s, but, I feel like kids today, they don't even listen to like genres. They're just fans of bands. And I think you ask anybody that's like under 25, they don't really give two shits about genres or scenes or anything like that. They just like good music. And I think that offers artists the freedom to really sort of like explore all sorts of influences. Whereas like before, I think a lot of bands were afraid to try new things because they were afraid of alienating themselves from their fan base. I mean, obviously, I've never been afraid of that because I just alienate my fan base all the time. But yeah, I think it's a really, really good thing. Which music video has turned out looking the best to you? I think the graphics on Love Like Lies are insane. Helps that the song is so good. Yeah, I really like the Love Like Lies video. I think my personal favorites would be Gods and Gold and Ebb and Flow. But Ebb and Flow, there's another one. It's another song that just absolutely tanked. Like nobody cared about it. And I think I spent the most on that music video. I spent so much money on that, and just like it gets no views. You're like, oh my God. When you think about these types of things, it just hurts. But you gotta take it with a grain of salt. You got to take it all in stride because, at the end of the day, who cares? Just music. And, you can't like get too married to the things that you create either. You just have to kind of create them, enjoy the process, release them out into the world, and let the world decide whether or not it's relevant or if they care about it. And, Ebb and Flow was just not a track that connected with the world. Supernatural was another one. It's like I worked really, really hard on Supernatural. I thought it was probably one of my best songs ever, and it just didn't go anywhere. And then, I made the music video thinking like, ooh, that will give it a boost, and it didn't happen either. But like I said, you just have to create and enjoy the process of it and not get too bogged down with expectations, right? Because you're just shooting yourself in the foot that way. Which music video was the most expensive? Ebb and Flow. I think I spent like twice as much on that as I did on any other music video because I really, really believed in it. I believed in the vision. I believed in the song, and like. I remember thinking to myself, I was like, okay, look, if I just put everything I have into this video and make it exactly what I want, exactly what I see in my head, then maybe, I don't know, like maybe I'll get like a viral video or something like that. And it just went just totally, and you're like, oh my God. And then, then you think about the Never Enough video, which, like, don't get me wrong, like I love the Never Enough video. We really did a lot with nothing, but that was just me and my friends in a garage. We went to a hardware store and bought some lights, and just set them up and recorded the video, and I edited it myself. And I think the video cost like $500. It's like one of my biggest music videos ever. And that's what I mean. It's like you just have to enjoy the process, and then not worry about it. Still stings though. I miss music from the 90s. Industrial isn't the same anymore. It shouldn't be. That's what art does. Art changes. I actually really enjoy a lot of the industrial music from the 90s and the 80s and stuff like that, but I don't want it to come back like that. Like what I've been saying for years and years and years is that, the reason that certain music connects with us is because, the first time we heard it, it blew our minds. It was something like totally different and out of left field. And that's what got us interested. We're on this really shocking trend in music right now where everybody just wants these like nostalgia genres, right? Like all these throwback bands, right? Like everything from, classic rock throwback to 80s throwback to like 90s industrial throwback and all that kind of stuff. And I think that it's important not to forget where you came from, but I think it's just as important to have a forward-thinking mindset and saying, okay, look, like we're going to try and take the spirit that influenced, our forefathers, that influenced the music that is so important to us. We're gonna try and take this into new directions, right? Because these people weren't pioneers because they wanted to just like do what everybody else was doing. They wanted to try something different. And I think that you need to have that spirit moving forward. There's a lot of risk involved with that, right? Because maybe people are not going to resonate with it. Maybe the risks that you're taking are going to result in failure. But that's just kind of the nature of being a creator. You have to take these risks, and you need to be okay with these risks. You need to say, I'm going to spend every dime I have on the Ebb and Flow music video and then have no one watch it. That's just it. You just got to be cool with it. And I've had so many hits and misses in my 20 years of doing this, and I'm going to continue to have hits and misses, and I'm cool with that. Ebb and Flow is one of my top 5 favorite songs of yours. Thank you, Horst Wurst. I don't think that's your real name, but if it is, that's really cool. Horst Wurst is a badass name. Streaming services are also excellent at suggesting music. Really love Empathy Test, Mesh, Mono Inc., Ashbury Heights, all the Euro bands that I've never heard of before streaming. Yeah, man, I'm like a huge fan of streaming. I love it. I don't think they deserve nearly the amount of hate that they get for that, because streaming has changed the game. It's enabled artists like myself to exist independently without needing to rely on record labels who were just like far more predatory and like taking far more advantage of artists than like any, Spotify, Deezer, like any of these streaming platforms. Like, record contracts are friggin' evil. And you will never convince me that Spotify, streaming, whatever, is worse than that, because that stuff is straight up evil. The song LAX, does it have this name because you are from Los Angeles? Yes, the song LAX is sort of written from the perspective of me, but, someone who's trying to return home. I wrote LAX just after I had moved back to LA. It's where I'm from, after spending 7 years in Europe. And it was just kind of like about coming back home and realizing that everything that you'd expected or hoped or wanted from this return to the past is all fantasy. And I thought it would be sort of clever to personify the city, Los Angeles, as a romantic relationship, right? So it's like I'm coming back home. I'm going back to my ex. I'm going back to my LA ex, my Los Angeles ex, and of course LAX being the airport. I thought I was being super clever, but I think it's a little bit too like. I don't know, when I try to explain it now, I'm like, that's a little bit too in the weeds, man. What was I thinking? And then, of course, like I purposely made the song to sound kind of like a Violent Emotion, right? Like I used all these sort of like old school Aesthetic Perfection sounds, talking about trying to return back home. And then, of course, the second the second installment in that trilogy, because there is the LA trilogy, which is LAX, Love Like Lies, and Angels and Kings. And so, LAX was supposed to be trying to recapture the past. Love Like Lies is the bitterness of realizing that it's all fantasy, that it's all lies. And then Angels and Kings is sort of like the acceptance phase of grief, right? Like you're just sort of like accepting the reality of life as it is, because I think something that I say over and over again is that we have to accept the world as it is and not as it ought to be. I mean, obviously we need to work towards changing it and making it better. But there are just certain things that you're never going to change. You're just going to have to sort of like deal with the fact that life is imperfect. And, once I personally started having this approach in my own life, like things just, got a whole hell of a lot easier. How was your experience touring with Lindemann? Can't complain. Everybody from Till to the band and the crew, they were all just super awesome and welcoming. Feel like it helped the band grow a whole lot. It was really terrifying playing in like arenas and stuff for the first time in my life. I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now you're going to play an arena in front of like 10, 20,000 people. And you're just like, I've never done this before. I was really afraid that people were going to hate us. Like I sort of mentally prepared for being hit with bottles and tomatoes every single night. But the fact that we got such a warm welcome, such a positive response is really, really humbling, really amazing. It motivated me to keep going. Yeah, M-Flow has around 185,000 views. I mean, I know it's funny too because I always feel silly like talking about this in this way. Like, oh no, my song only got 200,000 views. A lot of people will be like, well, I would give anything to have my music video get 200,000 views. Like, I get that, but you have to look at everything in a relative sense, right? Like, most of my music videos get, around 1 million views. And the fact that like what I thought was one of my best songs and certainly one of my best music videos, the fact that it didn't even like break this number, this 250,000 view number in 4 years. It's been 4 years or something like that. The fact that I didn't reach that, this number I should have gotten by all sort of like statistics or, sort of like predictions, should have reached that within just a couple of months. It just shows that it was a quote unquote failure. And, a lot of people also say to me, like, don't call it a failure. Every failure is a learning experience. I totally agree with that. Like, but you still have to accept when things like fail, when things don't work, right? Like, if I were to say, oh, I'm just going to try and do this all over again, I'm just going to make another ebb and flow styled song with another ebb and flow styled music video. It's like, that's the definition of insanity when you keep trying the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Have you thought about producing other bands? I have produced other bands. I've done a fair amount of production work, like, on the side for a number of years. I'm not doing any this year because obviously like I've got my hands full with the 12 songs in 12 months project. I do like producing other bands, but I don't get the same kind of like joy out of it as I do like creating my own songs because, it's on one hand, it's nice being able to not try to serve your own vision. It's like you're working towards somebody else's vision. But then on the other hand, you're working towards somebody else's vision. And, when they're like, I don't like your ideas, like I want to go with my vision and you think that their vision is bad. You're just like, your vision sucks, bro. Just take my vision. I don't know. It's like, you always have these things where people are butting heads and it's never good. But yes, I will probably do it again. There's a great picture of you and the band in Hamburg at the red light district. How did this picture happen? Well, we were playing at the Große Freiheit, and our merchandiser Donna, who's also an amazing band manager and photographer, rockscene.co.uk. She said, "Oh, the lights here are pretty." Oh wait, sorry. Oh, the lights here. She's British, so the lights here are quite nice. Why don't you go take your picture right there? And then she made a great picture. And I apologize to any of the English folks in this chat who have been offended by my terrible English accent. Yeah, see, we got another Donna fan in here. Donna's amazing. Great photographer, great band manager, great merchandiser. She's a triple threat. I'm sure she does other things really good too. She's probably like a quadruple threat. You made me start wearing fedoras. Very good. Milady. Malad? Malad? What is milady for men? Malad? Malad. Look, fedoras don't get the credit that they deserve. I understand that a lot of douchey people wear them, but I still think that they're cool. Just don't be a douchebag when you wear them. I love this question. How can someone contribute financially to your work? Patrons, why don't you tell them? Okay. I have a super awesome Patreon page with an absolutely amazing community of supporters. When I started doing this whole Patreon thing, I was really apprehensive. I wasn't sure if it was going to be the right thing for me. Like, I didn't want to appear like I'm just some artist, hat in hand, like, please, sir, can I have some more? Will you give me some money so that I can make me tunes? Right. So I was really worried about that. But, I learned quite quickly that it's really just about establishing a community where it's in balance. Everything is mutual, right? It's like people aren't just throwing money at me because they want to. It's like we have a great reward system where people get access to old demos, free music, fun little jingles, handwritten lyrics, secret live streams that we like what we have going on in 12 minutes. So I better wrap this up pretty quickly. There's a whole host of perks that patrons get for becoming a part of the community. And I feel like it's just become, it's just a great support group where a lot of people have found other like-minded people, started friendships and relationships, supporting one another, talking to one another. Everybody's hanging out on the Discord, drinking and chatting even when I can't be there. So I think it's really, really awesome, and it's so much more than I could have ever anticipated when I first started doing this. You can sign up. The lowest tier, you can get you can get a year-long subscription for $20. You can pay monthly, however you want to do it. I do want to add this sort of like caveat that if you are struggling financially right now, like I understand a lot of people are, like obviously I don't want you to sign up. Like this is really for the people who, have the means to do so, because I really, really don't want anybody sort of foregoing life's necessities just to help an artist. I know a lot of my colleagues like to say that art is not a luxury, but I absolutely believe that it is. I think that, food, medical care, shelter, car payments, all that kind of stuff is so much more important than music. And if you are struggling right now, then, go to my Bandcamp and, you can take all my music for free. All of my music is pay what you want during the pandemic, because I want people to be able to have access to music and art, because I understand how important it is, especially in the most sort of difficult times in our lives. And, you can pre-save if you really want to help and you don't have any money. Pre-save the song on, or pre-save my singles on Spotify. It does a great service. It's an awesome way of supporting me and artists that you love. So yeah, go to my Spotify, hit follow, pre-save the new single, boom. Oh yeah, you can also buy merchandise. I forgot. I also did it. My EU store opened today. Why did I not talk about my EU store? Oh my Lord. Well, look at that. Here, I'll drop the pre-save link up in here for you guys. Boom. All right. I think that about does it for now. I've got to jump off and get ready for my super secret Patreon live stream, which kicks off in 9 minutes. It is not too late to join if you sign up at patreon.com/Daniel Graves. Right now, you can get immediate access to that live stream. If you are a Patreon supporter already, I will see you guys in just a few minutes. Thank you all for hanging out with me. Please do not forget to pre-save or pre-order the new single Gravity, which drops on May 7th. That is in exactly 6 days. And finally, we are having an online release party right here on YouTube on Friday at 10 p.m. Central European time. So please join us for that. We're going to listen to the song. We're going to have some drinks. We're going to have a good time. Watch some music videos, do whatever we do on all of these live stream parties. You can find that in my YouTube sort of page thingamajigger. All right. I hope you all have a lovely weekend. Thank you for hanging out with me. See you soon.